Promoters, here is a chance to boost your event or fete with MTV's irresistible television advertising specials. Book now and be wowed with party deals and good advertising coverage. Call our sales and marketing department on 440-8171 or via WhatsApp on 455-718. You can also send an email at mtvmarketinggd@gmail.com. Terms and conditions apply.
CaribJet, the most experienced travel agency company in Grenada, serving our clients and businesses for over 40 years. IATA accredited, we issue tickets on 280 airlines, representatives for Condor, the German airlines, and main agents for Virgin, KLM and Air France. We're specialists to the Middle East. Walk in to our ticket office at Morris Bishop Highway, call 439-4444, WhatsApp 534-7755 or visit caribjet.com.
This Mother's Day, give your mom the gift of music, love, and excitement with Sunshine Promotions Night of Love Concert featuring the incredible Christopher Martin, Sanchez, and Vaughn. But that's not all. When you purchase your Night of Love ticket, you will automatically be entered into our Mother's Day sweepstakes, win a Samsung Galaxy smartphone, and more. Each week leading up to the event, we will be giving away fantastic prizes contributed by our event partners, including gift certificates, product vouchers, and service vouchers. And the best part, you can gift the prize to your amazing mother or keep it for yourself. But remember, you must have a Night of Love ticket to win. So what are you waiting for? Get your Night of Love ticket today and be automatically entered into our Mother's Day sweepstakes. Visit gotofed.com or any island-wide ticket outlet to purchase your tickets now. Terms and conditions apply.
At the NIS, our team proudly works to support the evolving needs of Grenadians. We have made some changes to our operations and want to keep you informed. Firstly, we are happy to introduce the new unemployment benefit. This benefit will provide an insured person with 50% of his or her former income in the case of sudden unemployment. To support this benefit and other benefits we offer, it was necessary to increase the contribution rate. The contribution rate will increase gradually each year until it reaches 16% in 2031. As always, the contribution will be split between you and your employer. The pensionable age will also increase from 60 to 65 years. This increase will also be gradually reaching age 65 in 2029. Pensioners will continue to be eligible for a pension from age 60, but will receive a reduced payment. The NIS recognizes that the prices of basic customer goods are increasing globally. Therefore, we are happy to also increase the weekly minimum pension payment by 25%. Finally, we have adjusted our survivor's benefit payment to a percentage of the age pension minimum. Widows, widowers, and dependent parents will receive 100% or $58 weekly, while children will receive 50% or $29 weekly of the deceased's pension. We are here to make the transition to these new changes as clear and simple as possible. If you have any questions on how these changes impact you and your family, please contact our new informational hotline at 440-6647 or visit www.nisgrenada.org. Thank you for allowing us to be your social security provider.
Hello and welcome to the MTV Evening News for Wednesday, the 3rd of May. The news headlines come to you in association with Courts Grenada Limited. Welcome back, and coming up in the news this evening, fatal shooting on the sister isle of Carriacou, suspect still at large. Vegetable vendors angry over ministry's decision to have them returned to the market from the stadium car park. Former Labour Minister shares his concerns about May Day speeches. And in sports, Grenada's Anderson Peters is a brand ambassador for Adidas. We'll have details to these and other stories, the public forecast information too for you. And that's all after the break. Stay with us.
The first segment of the MTV Evening News comes to you compliment Nexa Credit Union. With you wherever your road leads.
But when you need someone to help you to your feet, I'll be that beacon to your highest peak. I'll be right next to you, no, I will never leave. Come on, take my hands, we got everything we need. Cause you can look to me, yes I can. Whenever you're in need, yes you can. Just call on me and I'll be on my way. I'll be by your side, never to divide, to light that shines our way. Wherever you road leads, we'll make your dreams come true. Next side, next side, next side, right next to you.
Nexa Credit Union, with you wherever your road leads.
Good evening, I'm Tony Julian with the details. Following a fatal shooting on the sister isle of Carriacou in the community of Bogles on Tuesday afternoon, there continues to be a sense of fear and uneasiness among the residents there. Our news correspondent over in the sister isle of Carriacou, Roll Patterson, shared an update on the current situation as the suspect shooter, Dwayne McDonald, remains at large. Donella Hoston begins this evening's newscast with a report.
The search continued on Wednesday for Dwayne McDonald, the man of interest to law enforcement believed to be involved in the fatal shooting of Randy Jones McIntosh, the chairman of the Carriacou and Petite Martinique chapter of the New National Party, on Tuesday afternoon in the community of Bogles on the sister isle of Carriacou. Roll Patterson, news correspondent based on the sister isle, provided an update to our news team.
Incident occurred just around 4:40 yesterday afternoon in the community of Bogles, where Mr. Jones was driving his XL Escudo with a female companion just about some 200 meters from home when they encountered Mr. McDonald, who of course approached them with a weapon and shot him 3 times in his vehicle, a left-hand drive vehicle. The female companion actually escaped, came out of the vehicle and hid on the side of the vehicle. Mr. Jones McIntosh was shot, I said, 3 times on the left side to the shoulder and to the neck, and on the right side to the lower part of the chest. He was rushed to the hospital, the Princess Royal Hospital, Carriacou, where he was pronounced dead. We were told that when Mr. McDonald approached the vehicle, he said, I want my money, I want my money. That's what of course, we are gathering. And after, of course, conducting the shooting, reports that, of course, he walked back in sort of a dirt road, that is, and went back to the main road. And afterwards, he was not seen since.
Speculation is rife as to what may have led to the shooting incident. However, notably, both gentlemen who resided in the USA at some point were said to be deported. According to Patterson, police from the mainland have been brought in to assist in the search for the suspected shooter.
Well, presently, as we speak, a number of officers arrived from the mainland to augment the staff here in Carriacou and Petite Martinique. And as we speak, they are basically out on the search looking for one named as Dwayne McDonald, who have been, of course, the one accused of shooting that of Randy Jones on Tuesday afternoon in the community of Bogles. What I can also tell you is that, of course, a number of the officers here have been combing parts of the island, and they have also sent out messages to the various regional counterparts to be on the lookout for Mr. McDonald. There are some reports that, of course, we are hearing that Mr. McDonald may be in contact with his lawyer to surrender. We are also hearing reports that, of course, he may have already fled the island to one of the neighboring Grenadian islands. So, of course, there is a very several moving parts as it pertains to the situation, which is extremely fluid.
The Sister Isles are known for their serenity, and with this being the first homicide on the Sister Isle for the year, residents, according to Patterson, are somewhat uneasy. A post-mortem is expected to be conducted on Thursday, May 4th, 2023. As the situation unfolds and more information becomes available, MTV News will keep you updated. Reporting for MTV News, I am Donella Hostan.
The Immigration Department of the Royal Grenada Police Force is advising individuals that any person entering the country must present themselves to an immigration officer. There is Nikita Houston with more.
According to law, any individual entering the country must present themselves to an immigration officer. This procedure is critical in ensuring the safety of our borders.
Persons who are entering the country. Now in our law under Section 9 right, of the Immigration and Passport Act, it says that any person entering Grenada must present themselves to an immigration officer. Right? And we want to advise against persons coming into the country without seeing or seeking an immigration officer as soon as possible. And the law...
Any person entering the country?
Any person entering the country.
So someone coming from Union to Carriacou?
They have to present themselves to an immigration officer. And there are consequences for not presenting yourself to an immigration officer, as we were speaking earlier.
That was Constable Redhead attached to the Immigration Department. Corporal Joseph emphasized the importance of having a valid passport.
And just to add, when you come in, what the law also says is that that person must provide a valid passport on entering the country. And if you do not have a valid passport with a proper photo, identification of nationality and name, so this identifies who you are as an individual. The only exception is someone of who is a member of the OACS, and we know the OACS countries, and they have the authority to come in on an ID. But the ID also must show nationality.
As the RGPF Immigration Department responds to the growing concerns created by our porous borders, they are calling on citizens to be on the lookout for illegal immigrants and assist the police by reporting them to the Immigration Department.
And that is the fortunate thing about Grenada. You can say and you can report crimes, and you know the funny thing is
Grenadians do that with pleasure.
We do that with pleasure, you know, and it's amazing, and
it's a pastime.
And that is the beauty of Grenada, you know. It's like people are gonna literally call. I'm telling you.
Nikita Houston, MTV News.
Meanwhile, Attorney at Law Anselm Cloughton is calling for more Coast Guard surveillance of our borders. His comments come after a Vincentian national recently entered the country illegally and gunned down a man in Guelph, St. John.
Well, he's also charged with unlawful entry. Yes. He's also charged with unlawful entry. So he would have come in without being processed. Well, you know, our borders are porous. So we need a number of small, deployable Coast Guard crafts, not one or two. We need quite a few.
Cloughton believes more should be done to protect the country's borders to help decrease the number of illegal immigrants entering the country. The marine legal expert also says emphasis should be placed on the protection of our marine resources.
Not only to surveil our borders to avoid people rushing onto us, but also to protect our marine resources. We have a tremendous good stock of fish within our fishery zone, and a lot of people come poaching. It's well known. Sometimes you can see them. I sail, so I encounter them sometimes way out, but within the jurisdiction of our respective courses, both St. Vincent and Grenada. So we have to seriously try to secure our borders.
Vendors who operate at the National Stadium showed up at the ministerial complex on Wednesday to meet with authorities on a letter they received from the Ministry of Infrastructure, Public Utilities, Civil Aviation and Transportation.
I understand that we have to move from the stadium. It's not a problem for me because I said it's not a marketplace, it's a stadium and for different activities, right? But the thing is that if ever it's so, it's not like that. They're supposed to call a meeting with everybody like who is there on a Saturday.
The letter stated that with effect from May 5th, 2023, there will be no vending at the Grenada National Stadium and that all vending will return to the St. George's Market. However, some vendors are not happy with this move. And on Wednesday, over 10 vendors gathered at the doors of the ministerial complex seeking answers. Most of the vendors said that the market does not have enough booths to hold them all. MTV News was there and spoke to Pearl Bartholomew, who has been vending for more than 10 years.
Instead of you to hear, they say I'm them. Say, I don't believe in they say and them say. Come straight to the point is me. And let me know what it is all about, especially me. I'm not a new vendor. As I said, I used to be in the market, and when they said that you have to move from there, I took off my table and whatsoever I got there, and I went it to the stadium.
Other vendors also spoke on this development. According to them, their livelihood is at stake.
What is bothering me? Nobody didn't tell me anything. I just hear it by mouth. And the problem I have, when they say you're going to the stadium, what next? There is no room in the stadium. I mean, in the vendors market. I mean, I believe they could find some other solutions. Even though we have to pay our rent?
I am registered. I do poultry, different crops, vegetables, even various tea bags. Now, my thing is, if you're saying that they're going back to the market, all those vendors that is there, they can't fit in the market.
We have to stay home until they come. Right now, Uncle Kit, I want you to see me face good. You see me? You see me good, Uncle Kit? Dr. Morris and Mr. Davro, woman, what they here? You hear? Come back, please. We want you back.
Because that's a problem. People are going there to sell stuff. That's their livelihood that is being affected there now. Now, my take is, are we obstructed anything in the stadium? No. The farmers, from my observation, is like they work their land during the week, and on Fridays and Saturdays is when they come out to sell the produce. So what is the problem in us allowing us to stay there?
Oh, they're treating us as dog.
Come better and tell us something. They say they pass a message for people on social media. Me don't know nothing about social media. I don't know nothing about social media. They have all the right to come and have a meeting with us.
Some of the vendors who were at the ministerial complex on Wednesday also received the number of the booths they will operate in at the St. George's Market, while others were asked to return on Thursday.
A local attorney is sounding the alarm bell after making a disturbing observation. According to Attorney-at-Law Jerry Edwin, too many juveniles are before the magistrate's court for grievous harm matters. He's calling for an immediate intervention to stem this worrying trend.
Attorney-at-Law Jerry Edwin voiced his concern on the number of juveniles appearing before the magistrate's court. According to him, the number of school children brought before the court for wounding and other harmful matters should be addressed immediately.
When I go to the courts and I see dozens of young boys in school uniforms and mothers and very, very few fathers, to say that the circumstances involving juveniles and the fact that so many young people are brought before the magistrate's court, to say this is tragic is an understatement.
Edwin says on a normal day, the court will see about 60 juveniles answering to crimes, which includes but not limited to assault on police. He says there is a disciplinary issue within our society involving a juvenile that needs to be addressed.
There are too many young people who are before the court for violating the law. This morning, someone remarked that it is intercall games outside the magistrate's court. That was merely an expression to say that the many young people that we saw waiting to be called for infraction of the law before the magistrate.
He says there is a disciplinary issue within our society involving a juvenile that needs to be addressed.
How can we have 75 matters on Juvenile Day for wounding, for fighting, for causing harm, for assault on police, and all of us are not up in arms? Where is the civic classes at the primary and secondary schools?
Edwin is calling on the relevant authorities to help with this cycle of violence reoccurring in our schools among the young people.
That's the first segment of the news here on MTV. We'll be back with you after the break.
The first segment of the MTV Evening News came to you in association with Nexa Credit Union. With you wherever your road leads.
When you need someone to help you to your feet, I'll be that beacon to your highest peak. I'll be right next to you, no, I will never leave. Come on, take my hands, we got everything we need. Cause you can look to me, yes, I can. Whenever you're in need, yes, you can. Just call on me and I'll be on my way. I'll be by your side, never to divide, to light that shines always. Wherever you road leads, we'll be right there with you. Wherever you road leads, we'll make your dreams come true. Next side, next side, next side, right next to you.
Nexa Credit Union, with you wherever your road leads.
Hello, I am Pettifer Lewis, the Executive Director of the Grenada Chamber of Industry and Commerce, representing the private sector. From where I sit, I can see how volatile both the local, regional, and international economies can be as a result of financial shocks, pandemics, natural disasters, among others. Having the NIS Unemployment Benefit Program is certainly a step in the right direction. This will help to alleviate the burden that arises from unemployment. Remember that people who are employed not just support themselves, but support family members as well. The NIS Unemployment Benefit Program will play a very important role in assisting our citizens to mitigate hardships while keeping the local economy stimulated during future challenges like these. This is a very good program, very good initiative, and I support it.
Do you know, when you play the games of the National Lotteries Authority, you are supporting sports, culture, and nation building in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit-Martinique?
Hi, I am Junior Murray, cricket coach, sports enthusiast, and a former West Indies cricketer. I endorse the games of the NLA 100%. For the past 40 years, the NLA has been funding many sporting activities, including competition for schools and clubs, and for athletes to participate in overseas tournaments such as the Carifta Games and regional cricket tournaments. Additionally, they made it possible for you, the public, to view local, regional, and international tournaments from the comfort of your homes. For those reasons, I play the game of the NLA. Even if I do not win, I know Grenada always wins.
Yes, when you play all the games, the NLA in turn supports sports, culture, and nation-building activities throughout the Tri-Island state.
When a loved one passes on, we all need the comfort, support, and guidance of a trusted friend. You can rely on LaCour Brothers Funeral Home. We provide a personalized professional service that exceeds all expectations. Our dedicated staff responds to your every need with the greatest detail, ensuring affordability with a variety of options. Our upgraded state-of-the-art facilities, spacious air-conditioned chapel with live internet streaming, a modern, environmentally safe crematorium, the only of its kind on island, private viewing spaces, large on-site repast center, a modern transportation fleet. Join our burial society today and make personalized arrangements for that final moment as you prepare to enter your loved one into eternal rest. Visit or call LaCour Brothers Funeral Home and select a package that brings added comfort to the entire family. LaCour Brothers Funeral Home and Burial Society, continuing a tradition of excellence.
In our part of the world, we need to be prepared for natural disasters like storms and hurricanes, even outside of the season. I'm sure you'll agree that keeping our loved ones, homes, and businesses safe is important. So, I came up with a few quick tips to help you stay safe. First, make a family disaster plan and ensure that everyone in your household is familiar and comfortable with it. Remember to add batteries and flashlights to your emergency kit. Don't be caught off guard by natural disasters. Prepare now. For more information, visit grenlec.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the event you've been waiting for. The event of the century. It's the massive Cars and Cash Mega Bingo. Sunday, May 7th from 5 p.m. Where? At the National Stadium. And this year you can win not one, not two, not even 3 or 4, but 5 Suzuki Swift Sports.
I don't think I heard that correctly. Tell me again slowly.
You can win 5 Suzuki Swift Sports. Yeah! Wait, come back, that's not all. Plus $25,000 in cash.
No way.
Tickets are $60 for one or $100 for two.
This is crazy.
5 cars plus $25,000 in cash. This will definitely be the event of the century.
Welcome back. Former Labour Minister Peter David, who was present at the May Day celebrations, spoke with our news desk and shared his concerns about some of the statements made during these speeches. Donella Hostin has more.
Despite not being in government at this time, the former Labour Minister Peter David once again attended the May Day celebrations, where he was seen listening to and mingling with workers, union leaders and other patrons. David, who is no stranger to the Labour arena, told our news team that he supports workers regardless of his position, as he understands the importance of organised labour. However, he did make a mention of some of the speeches, which according to him were very politically charged.
Of course, some of the speeches were highly politically charged, and one expects that coming out of an elections. This is the first May Day since the last elections. There were some serious labor issues, industrial disputes during the last administration, and that seemed to have spilled over into this May Day. And one has to expect that. Some of them may have been, some people may say, too political, but then again, we have to expect that on May Day.
Nevertheless, according to David, he believes that some of the pressing issues, including those stemming from the previous administration's tenure, were raised.
Several of them raised the issue of cost of living, promises having been made to deal with the cost of living issues. They raised those issues, and I think it is something we need to address. Also, the issue of regularization of workers, promises were made in that respect. It is a burning issue. It was a burning issue in the last administration. It continues to be a burning issue. Those issues as well. The issue of termination of workers unfairly, that was raised with respect to the situation in Carriacou and Petit Martinique. The representation of workers on boards. I think that, again, another issue for workers, because workers must be represented on some of these boards.
David says he believes that going forward, unions can organize a more structured celebration that will leave workers more conscious about themselves and the role they play.
I think the strength of the labor movement will depend to a large extent on the consciousness, and we talk about class consciousness, the consciousness of the workers in terms of what their role is in development of society, what their role is in terms of productivity, what their role is in terms of organization. In other words, education of the workers as to their role in society.
He also gave the suggestion of inviting a feature speaker to speak on certain issues rather than having a multitude of lengthy speeches that some of the people seem not to be too fond of. Reporting for MTV News, I am Donella Hostan.
A committee from St. David is seeking the public's assistance in raising much-needed funds for a young woman, Nisia Moraine, who has been diagnosed with a medical condition referred to as CSF rhinorrhea. Speaking to our news team about an upcoming fundraising activity the committee will have was Nicole Cambridge.
On May 6th, which is this Saturday, we will be having a fundraising motorcade for Nisia Moraine. She was diagnosed with CSF rhinorrhea, which is more or less, she has a cracked skull that is causing leakage through her nose. From the time Nisi had messaged me with her illness, I decided to do something for her, and I said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and work on a motorcade. And together I have a committee, which is, well, myself, Rita, Kerry Williams, Akiran Moraine, and Ashlyn Moraine.
Ms. Cambridge shared the route of Saturday's fundraising motorcade.
So on Saturday, we'll be having that motorcade. We'll be starting at Latan Junction, 9 a.m., we will proceed to down to St. David's, through Woodlands, the Valley, Grand Anse, head to town, and go up on the western side, then northern side, and back to the eastern side.
Another member of the committee, Rita Augustine, continues to plead with the public for help as she gave an account number that funds can be donated to.
We're asking folks to look out for us. So for Nisi Moraine, she needs us, Grenada. I keep pounding that she needs us. And we're asking that you guys come on board. And if you cannot, then there's a account number at the Communal Credit Union that you can make contribution to is 1097933. So you can go there and make that contribution, or you can call either one of us, and we will be able to guide you along this process.
With Mother's Day around the corner, health officials continue to stress the need for women to get screened for cervical cancer. For this evening's Health Wise, we're speaking with gynecologist and obstetrician at Fit for Life Medical Services, Dr. Smith, on colposcopy, or a colposcopic examination, which normally follows an abnormal cervical screening test or PAP test, a procedure which involves a visual examination of the cervix with a magnifying instrument called a colposcope to determine if someone may be predisposed or at risk of cervical cancer.
We are here to talking about Mother's Day because we are here in this month, May. So we want to offering a service like a gynecologist. We want to offering a discount. We want to talking about especially on the colposcopy. This is a procedure, a very important procedure. Most of the people they don't know about that procedure. It's very important. The colposcopy is a visual examination on the cervix and the vaginal walls to detect when the patient have a abnormal pap smear or any bleeding after intercourse, to detect any precancer cells or any cells on the cervix. So we're offering that procedure here with the colposcope machine here at Fit for Life medical service. The benefit for the colposcopy is detect on time abnormal cells on the cervix or on the vaginal walls to detect any cancer, because sometimes we need to take some little tissue from the cervix to detect that abnormal cell, like a biopsy, and it's very important for the patient. The machine is the colposcope. With that colposcope, they have a lens and the light, and you can see and visualize more clear and more specific. Is the patient have any lesion, any abnormal cells on the cervix, and you can detect more clear, and you can take a biopsy in that abnormal lesion or cells on the cervix, on the vaginal walls as well. They need to know about that procedure because it's very important. Most of the patients, they don't know about that procedure, and sometimes it's very important to do and get that procedure done to detect on time any abnormal cells on the cervix.
That's the second segment of Evening News Wednesday here on MTV. Regional highlights are next.
The NLA is giving you more chances to multiply your Playway winnings by adding Multi-X to your regular Playway bets to win up to 5 times more. Imagine winning as much as $1,200 instead of $240 with a $10 Playway bet by simply adding Multi-X. Place your Playway bets from $1 to $10 or in increments on your favorite Playway symbols or numbers. Then add the Multi-X option at the same value to win 2 times, 3 times, 5 times more, or free plays. With Multi-X, you must bet the same amount wagered on your regular Playway bets for your winnings to be multiplied. Grenadians, value your dreams and win your way as much as 5 times more with Multi-X added to Playway, and watch your money grow. Must be 18 years or older to play. NLA, making your dreams come true.
At Bailey's Funeral Home, we understand the pain and grief you experience when you suffer the loss of a loved one. For years, we have helped thousands of families get through that difficult time by providing professional funeral services to meet their unique needs. Whether your choice is cremation or burial, call us or come into our new facility on the Carenage and meet with our arrangers in a spacious and comfortable environment. Choose from a wide variety of quality coffins and caskets at prices from as low as $1,900. At Bailey's Funeral Home, we believe that no one should feel overwhelmed or anxious about funeral expenses. So when it's time to plan a funeral, join a burial society, or make pre-arrangements when service and costs matter, call Bailey's Funeral Home at 440-2558 or visit us at baileysfuneralhome.org. Bailey's Funeral Home, still providing the perfect tribute any family can afford.
No, girl, that was yesterday. I can't believe how they said that. She didn't say
Mom,
that.
can you help me please? I'm having some trouble understanding.
No, you serious?
Mom, can you help me please?
So you all sit down and say that? Okay then, bye. Are you ready?
Yes.
Let's ensure that you are well prepared for this exam.
Parents, you have a crucial role to play in helping to prepare your children for the CPEA exams. Help them or seek additional help so that they can revise the concepts they learn at school and give them a better chance to be successful and move on to the next phase of their lives. A message from the National Parenting Program, Ministry of Social and Community Development, Housing and Gender Affairs.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the event you've been waiting for. The event of the century. It's the massive Cars and Cash Mega Bingo. Sunday, May 7th from 5 p.m. Where? At the National Stadium. And this year you can win not one, not two, not even 3 or 4, but 5 Suzuki Swift Sports.
I don't think I heard that correctly. Tell me again slowly.
You can win 5 Suzuki Swift Sports. Wait, come back. That's not all. Plus $25,000 in cash.
No way.
Tickets are $60 for one or $100 for two.
This is crazy.
5 cars plus $25,000 in cash. This will definitely be the event of the century.
This Mother's Day, give your mom the gift of music, love, and excitement with Sunshine Promotions Night of Love concert featuring the incredible Christopher Martin, Sanchez, and Vaughn. But that's not all. When you purchase your Night of Love ticket, you will automatically be entered into our Mother's Day sweepstakes, win a Samsung Galaxy smartphone, and more. Each week leading up to the event, we will be giving away fantastic prizes contributed by our event partners, including gift certificates, product vouchers, and service vouchers. And the best part, you can gift the prize to your amazing mother or keep it for yourself. But remember, you must have a Night of Love ticket to win. So what are you waiting for? Get your Night of Love ticket today and be automatically entered into our Mother's Day sweepstakes. Visit GoToFed.com or any island-wide ticket outlet to purchase your tickets now. Terms and conditions apply.
Building resilience is the responsibility of us all. That means planning in the event of more frequent and intense storms. Introducing a new product called Flexible Hurricane Protection, FHP. FHP provides protection against tropical storms through to Category 5 hurricanes. If a storm covered by your policy impacts your island, you get a payout automatically. No assessors, no adjusters. Pick the amount of coverage you need. Use the funds however you want to cover lost income, replace damaged equipment or crops, rebuild your business, or carry out quick repairs to your home. Getting started is easy. Simply visit www.corpefinsurance.com to select the coverage that's right for you or choose an annual premium that fits your budget. Pay the annual premium at your credit union before 1st June. It's that simple. Make FHP a key part of your yearly hurricane plan.
The third segment of MTV News is brought to you in association with Arise Credit Union. Your financial freedom, your future.
Transform your life with Arise's suite of loan products. Own your own vehicle, education, land, or home, and anchor your roots. Start living the life you deserve by applying for an Own Your Own loan at reduced interest rates. Simplify your life and consolidate all your debts by applying for a Simplify loan and open doors to new beginnings and explore more opportunities to shape your future. Call or send us a WhatsApp on 423-4987 or email us at loans@arisecu.com today to continue your journey towards financial freedom. Terms and conditions apply. Arise Credit Union, your financial freedom, your future.
Welcome back. Here now is Clifton James with this evening's Regional Roundup.
Good evening with tonight's MTV Regional Roundup. I am Clifton James. Over in Suriname, 2 men were killed during a shootout with police after gunmen fired upon and set fire to a police station in Pekin Saron, south of the capital, Paramaribo, on Tuesday. Chief of Police Ruben Kenson confirmed the deaths, adding that the bodies have been taken to the morgue. The police said that several employees of the state-owned mining company, Grasalu, which operates a gold mine in the area, and who have been taken hostage by the gunmen at the mine in Parimaston, have since been freed. Police said that the insurgents belong to the Kalina Amerindian tribe, who rioted because they are dissatisfied with the alleged treatment of the indigenous people by the Surinamese government. The police said that the riot began at around 6 a.m. local time, and video footage posted on social media showed residents of the area expressing displeasure with the government's handling of their rights and interests and suggesting that the escalation followed government contempt for their position. We are not in favour of violence, but it should now serve as an eye-opener for the government. Ronaldo Sabayo, one of the tribal leaders of Pikin Saron, told reporters referring to the land rights issue. We have often indicated that our land is being issued without our consent, but nothing is being done about it. We also spoke to the Minister of Land Management about the lands that were given away, and she indicated that she was not aware of this, said Sabayo. For years, the indigenous people have complained that concessions and mining rights are granted in their traditional living space by the government to individuals and companies without the residents being consulted. Caribbean countries regressed on this year's Press Freedom Index, which was released by Reporters Without Borders, RSF, today. Trinidad and Tobago was the highest ranked Caribbean country on the 2023 index at 30th, which was 5 places lower than 2022. In its assessment, RSF said, year after year, Trinidad and Tobago maintains its good record in terms of its press freedom, even though there is still room for improvement. RSF said Trinidad and Tobago provides a generally safe and protected environment for the profession. Jamaica, which was the highest ranked Caribbean country in 2022, fell 20 places to be ranked number 32. RSF said freedom of the press has continued to improve in Jamaica and the right to information is widely respected. However, the group noted that journalists in rare instances have faced physical attacks. A videographer for Television Jamaica and a reporter for the Jamaica Gleaner were attacked in November 2022 while covering a teachers' protest in St. Catherine Parish outside Kingston when a man interrupted their interview and damaged their equipment, RSF said. Apart from this incident, no acts of violence against journalists have been recorded in the past 10 years. Still, reporters must measure the threat posed to them by the country's high crime rate when they are investigating a sensitive subject. The lowest ranked Caribbean country was Cuba. Representatives of Colombia's government and the country's largest remaining guerrilla group met in Cuba on Tuesday to restart peace talks aimed at reaching a ceasefire and resolving a conflict dating back to the 1960s. It is the third round of talks with the communist-inspired National Liberation Army, known as ELN, in negotiations relaunched in November, shortly after President Gustavo Petro was elected as Colombia's first leftist president. We encourage you to take advantage of the magic, mysticism and hope that Cuba always offers, said Cuba's Foreign Minister Bruno Rodriguez, welcoming Colombia's government officials and a delegation of the ELN to the capital, Havana. Pablo Beltran, the rebels' chief negotiator, said the ELN is committed to a transformation to achieve peace and called the meeting a historic coincidence to reach a bilateral ceasefire. Tuesday's meeting was marked by a surprise appearance of Nicolas Rodriguez Bautista, alias Gabino, who led the ELN from the 1990s until 2021 when he left citing health reasons. Also in attendance were Colombian senators Ivan Cepeda and Maria Jose Pizarro, who said the talks seek to find real solutions for a country overwhelmed by 6 decades of war. That was your look around the region. I am Clifton James.
This is the MTV Evening News. We'll be back with you after the break.
The third segment of MTV News was brought to you in association with Arise Credit Union. Your financial freedom, your future.
Transform your life with Arise's suite of loan products. Own your own vehicle, education, land, or home, and anchor your roots. Start living the life you deserve by applying for an Own Your Own loan at reduced interest rates. Simplify your life and consolidate all your debts by applying for a Simplify loan and open doors to new beginnings and explore more opportunities to shape your future. Call or send us a WhatsApp on 423-4987 or email us at loans@arisecu.com today to continue your journey towards financial freedom. Terms and conditions apply. Arise Credit Union. Your financial freedom, your future.
You're watching the MTV Evening News. Sporting highlights are next.
Do you know, when you play the games of the National Lotteries Authority, you are supporting sports, culture, and nation building in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit-Martinique?
Hi, I am Junior Murray, cricket coach, sports enthusiast, and a former West Indies cricketer. I endorse the games of the NLA 100%. For the past 40 years, the NLA has been funding many sporting activities, including competition for schools and clubs, and for athletes to participate in overseas tournaments such as the Carifta Games and the regional cricket tournaments. Additionally, they made it possible for you, the public, to view local, regional, and international tournaments from the comfort of your homes. For those reasons, I play the game of the NLA. Even if I do not win, I know Grenada always wins.
Yes, when you play all the games, the NLA in turn supports sports, culture, and nation-building activities throughout the Tri-Island state.
In our part of the world, we need to be prepared for natural disasters like storms and hurricanes, even outside of the season. I'm sure you'll agree that keeping our loved ones, homes, and businesses safe is important. So, I came up with a few quick tips to help you stay safe. Familiarize yourself with your electrical panel, as it may be necessary to switch off the power during a storm or flood. Make sure you install a transfer or isolation switch to prevent your generator feeding electricity to Grenlec's line. If trees are too close to power lines, call Grenlec at 237 for advice. By following these easy steps, you will be well on your way to being hurricane ready. Don't be caught off guard by natural disasters. Prepare now. For more information, visit grenlec.com.
What does it take to be an amazing woman? Lots of me time. Amazing women are classy, fancy, and a little sassy. It's the drink for me. Cheers! Sometimes you've got to show them who's boss. Alpha male? Nah, alpha females are more amazing. Cheers to securing the bag. We make time for ourselves, for work, friends, and we certainly make time for passion. We're simply amazing. Amazing cream liqueur for the amazing woman in you.
Are you into the agricultural industry? Do you want the funds to grow your business? Quartz Ready Cash Small Business Loans is launching the $20 million Agricultural Fund. All you need to apply is your ID, proof of address, and 2 references, and you will receive the funding to get the equipment, tools, products, staffing, and services to grow your business. Plus, you pay nothing down, get flexible payment terms, fast approval, and convenient hassle-free service. Don't hesitate. Apply today at www.readyfinancecaribbean.com or call 405-1257 or 405-3180. Quartz Ready Cash Small Business Loans. Every day we help businesses succeed.
This Mother's Day, give your mom the gift of music, love, and excitement with Sunshine Promotions Night of Love Concert featuring the incredible Christopher Martin, Sanchez, and Vaughn. But that's not all. When you purchase your Night of Love ticket, you will automatically be entered into our Mother's Day sweepstakes, win a Samsung Galaxy smartphone, and more. Each week leading up to the event, we will be giving away fantastic prizes contributed by our event partners, including gift certificates, product vouchers, and service vouchers. And the best part, you can gift the prize to your amazing mother or keep it for yourself. But remember, you must have a Night of Love ticket to win. So what are you waiting for? Get your Night of Love ticket today and be automatically entered into our Mother's Day sweepstakes. Visit GoToFed.com or any island-wide ticket outlet to purchase your tickets now. Terms and conditions apply.
Grenada's Anderson Peters is a brand ambassador for Adidas. That story and more coming up in your sporting segment.
The MTV Evening Sports is brought to you in association with Courts, bringing value home.
What you gonna do when the rain is coming down? Nothing more to do when there's no one else around. Bring it back to the middle, push, take it back to the rhythm. Keep it up for good when the sky's feeling down. All you gotta do is to bring it to the ground. Speed it up to your inner move. Stop, start, down. Nobody can get what you're going through.
A special evening to you now, sporting fans. Here is Donella Hostin with your highlights.
Good evening, sporting fans. The 2023 Wonder Diamond League season will start in Doha this Friday, May 5th, and the reigning world champion Anderson Peters will begin his campaign ahead of a defense of his world title in Budapest in August. When Peters takes to the field on Friday, he will be wearing a pair of customized Adizero Adidas spikes featuring a replica of the Grenada flag and the catchphrase, "Respect the nutmeg." The shoes will be featured throughout the season, which is a major accomplishment for the two-time world champion and is of significance also for the country he represents. Peters has carried the hopes and provided glory to his country through his broad, powerful shoulders. Now he is doing so literally on his feet, with the deepening of the partnership between Anderson and Adidas expected to bring even more unique branding opportunities. After Doha, Peters flies to Kenya, where he will compete for the first time on the African continent. The Kip Kino Classic, which takes place at the 60,000-seat Kasarani Stadium in Nairobi, forms part of the World Athletics Continental Tour Gold Series of one-day meets and is scheduled for Saturday, May 13th, 2023. The Grenada Football Association Conference League 2021 playoffs continued over the weekend with exciting games between Shamrock and Happy Hill. Shamrock SC suffered its first defeat in the Conference League playoffs at the hands of Happy Hill FC 4-2 on Sunday, April 30th at Fair Playing Field, while St. David's FC won 3-1 against SAFL at Victoria Park. Presently, Sunsetters sits at the top of the leaderboard, winning their 3 matches played thus far, while GBSS has withdrawn from the competition and their points have been removed. Also, over the weekend, the Sandals GFA National Under-15 Boys Tournament continued on Saturday with games between Hard Rock and 5 Star at Plains. Hard Rock defeated 5 Stars 10-0, and in the other games, Sab Spartans defeated Honved 3-2 at the Victoria Park. The Sandals GFA Boys Tournament games to be played on Wednesday will be between Fontenoy United and Happy Hill FC at Buseja Playing Field, RGPF FC and SAFL FC at Kirani James Athletic Stadium, and Sunsetters and Shamrock at the Alston George Park. The results of these games will be given in a later newscast. Classic Lighting Caribbean Netball Tournament 2023 results of games played on Tuesday, 2nd May at the Tanti Netball facility is as follows. In Game 1 in the B Division, the Marlin Glean Fun City team led the first quarter 14 goals to 2. At the end of the second quarter, the score was 21-5, still in favor of the Marlin Glean Fun City.
At the end of the third quarter, the score was 28-11, and at the end of the final whistle, the fourth quarter, the score was 33-14 in favor of Malangleen Fun City. In Game 2 in the A Division, after winning the B Division match, the Malangleen Fun City A team started their encounter with the Jet Setters team very highly spirited. They finished the first quarter ahead 10-4. At the end of the second quarter, they led 24-6. The third quarter ended 33-12, still in favor of the Malangleen Fun City. And at the end of the final quarter, the score was 48-17 in favor of the Malangleen Fun City team. On Wednesday, at the Tanti Netball Complex, Top Striker Sports Club will be playing Jet Setters Sports Club in the A Division. The results of this game will be given in a later broadcast. And that's it for this evening's sports. I am Donella Hostin.
Thank you, Donella, for the latest sporting highlights. And viewers, when we return, we'll have the public forecast information and then a recap of the major stories.
The MTV Evening Sports was brought to you in association with Quartz, bringing value home.
MTV Weather Report comes to you in association with Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
Need a quick, convenient way to pay your bills and avoid lines? Use the online banking feature from Republic Bank, First Caribbean, or Co-op Bank. Contact them today to set up your online banking and enjoy 24-hour convenience to make your bill payments. Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
Good Wednesday evening, viewers. Once again with the nighttime weather forecast and meteorologist Dwayne Williams. Dry and hot conditions continue to dominate the weather over the Eastern Caribbean. We did have an area of showers moving across some of the Central Islands, but those showers there during the daytime. But the extreme Southern Caribbean, that's where we are, saw lots of clear skies. The haze has dissipated a bit. It is mostly further back, still heading our way and keeping keeping well south of the island. So we shouldn't really be seeing any major change in those conditions. That area of cloudiness and showers moved across the islands. About 1 or 2 showers. The folks in Tobago may see 1 or 2 tonight. Don't be surprised if we get a few very brief early ones here, but that would not dominate the weather throughout the day and night. The weather would be dominated by clear conditions, lots of moonlight to enjoy. The moon is already up. It rose at 4:44. It's going to set at 4:50 in the early morning. The winds are going to come in from the southeast between 8 and 18 miles per hour. At around 23.5, 24 will be the minimum, but a 10 to 20% chance of those brief early sprinkles. Sunny and hot again on Thursday. Southeasterly winds continue, but a little stronger, 12 to 24 miles per hour. Normal season 4 to 5 foot waves. Sunrise 5:46 again. Sunset 6:21. Temperature will climb again to around 33 and feel more like 35. Sunny and hot in Port of Spain on Thursday. Generally fair in Bridgetown. There's a slight increase, 1 or 2 little patches of clouds. They're partly cloudy in both Kingston and Miami. Some afternoon showers for New York. Very light rain is expected in London. As we approach the weekend, the sunny and hot conditions would continue through the weekend. Possibility of a slight increase in cloudiness from Monday, but still the sunshine and the gusty winds would dominate. The haze, as I said, has eased, so we should be seeing some lovely clear skies for the next 5 to 7 days. Temperatures again in the daytime around 33, feeling like 35 in the night, around 24. That's it for me for Wednesday night, folks. Have yourself a great night. Remember, you can join me here on Thursday.
MTV Weather Report was brought to you in association with Grenlec, energizing our Grenada.
And now to end the news, a recap of the headlines. Fatal shooting on the Sister Isle of Carriacou, with the suspect still at large. Vegetable vendors angry over ministry's decision to have them return to the market from the stadium car park. A former Labour minister has shared concerns about May Day speeches. And in sport, Grenada's ambassador Anderson Peters is a brand ambassador for Adidas. We've had details to those and other stories and the public forecast information, all a part of the evening news for Wednesday here on MTV. And so now, on behalf of the news and production departments, I'm Tony Julian. We all thank you for viewing and wish you a good night.
At Bailey's Funeral Home, we understand the pain and grief you experience when you suffer the loss of a loved one. For years, we have helped thousands of families get through that difficult time by providing professional funeral services to meet their unique needs. Whether your choice is cremation or burial, call us or come into our new facility on the Carenage and meet with our arrangers in a spacious and comfortable environment. Choose from a wide variety of quality coffins and caskets at prices from as low as $1,900. At Bailey's Funeral Home, we believe that no one should feel overwhelmed or anxious about funeral expenses. So when it's time to plan a funeral, join a burial society, or make pre-arrangements when service and costs matter, call Bailey's Funeral Home at 440-2558 or visit us at baileysfuneralhome.org. Bailey's Funeral Home, still providing the perfect tribute any family can afford.
Theodore Lodwin Johnson, also known as Cizo and Float, of Village Road, Grenville, who previously resided in Brooklyn, New York, a former police officer, died on April 15th at the age of 83. Left among his children, Dr. Keith Johnson and Raphael Johnson in Grenada, Kenneth Johnson and Sherry and Antoine in Canada, and Patrick Johnson in the USA. His sisters, Gemma Moses in England and Decima Woodsley in the USA. Daughters-in-law, Pearl, Viola, Linda, Carol, Alice, Maggie, and Sherlyn. Brothers-in-law, Steve Woodsley and Chester Moses. Many nieces and nephews including Morris Moses, Shaka, Onika, and Nikki Woodsley. Grandchildren, Siku, Kinda, Kim, Karina, Kazel, Kwame, Kwesi, Dr. Della John, Dr. Zania John, Vonda, Zoya, Daniel, Justin, Kenisha, Laurel, Rihanna, Kiana, Latoya, Keola, Shanice, Shanisa, O'Neill, Leon, Jaylee, Jevon, and Corey. 12 great-grandchildren. Other relatives and friends including Selma, Marcel, and Kathleen Vincent, and the Vincent family. Marlon, Mr. Parrot, Harold, Bullet, Buck, Woody, Mikey, Errol, Peter, the boys by Peter Shop, the Joseph families of Pearls and Telescope, the George, Mitchell, and Thomas families of Hermitage, the Copeland and Johnson families of Grantsboro, the Goodins family, and the boys by Police Garage in Brooklyn. Neighbors and friends of Village Road, Riverlet Lane, Harford Village, Cook Hill, and surrounding areas. The funeral service of the late Theodore Lodwin Joseph also known as CISO, and Float of Village Road, Grenville, who previously resided in Brooklyn, New York, will take place on Thursday, May 4th. The funeral service will be held at the St. Andrew the Apostle Roman Catholic Church at 1 p.m. and interment will be at the Grand Brass Cemetery. Funeral arrangements have been entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home.
Janet Linda Forrester of Canal Road, Grenville, St. Andrew, who resided in Toronto, Canada, passed away on April 26, 2022 in Canada, at the age of 76. She was the mother of Betty Ann and Donna Charles, grandmother of Kadeem Charles Finn, Dante Jones, Dominic Philander, and Selena Rambaranzi, sister of Rodney Astor, Ines Noel, Patricia John, and Patrick John, niece of Claudette Forrester, Ruggles Forrester, Leno, and Wellen John, aunt of Zola, Joel, Brent, Francis, Meshia, Frances, James, and Oxford Forrester, Nigel Brian Astor, Lucy and Timothy Noel, Eleanor and Jensen Jeffrey, sister-in-law of Millie Astor, George Noel, and Letitia Forrester, mother-in-law of Nigel Philander. Other relatives and friends including the Forrester family in Canada, the USA, England, Trinidad, Barbados, and Grenada, Paraclete and Birchgrove, the John family in Trinidad and in the USA, the Astor family in Trinidad, the McBain family in Grenada and Canada, the Jones and Edwards family in Canada. A memorial service for the late Janet Linda Forrester of Canal Road, Grenville, St. Andrew, who resided in Toronto, Canada, will take place on Thursday, May 4th at 2 p.m. at the Tivoli Sacred Heart RC Church. Arrangements entrusted to Lakpa Brothers Funeral Home. Talik Wilfana Laborde, also known as Shortstaff, and Wendy of Trinidad, who resided at Montu St. George, former student of St. George's Anglican Junior and Senior Schools and the Boca Secondary School, passed away on Tuesday, 11th April 2023, at the age of 34. She was the mother of Jaylene Andrews, daughter of Thalicia St. Bernard Hagley and Wilfred Laborde in Trinidad, stepdaughter of Peter Hagley, sister of Kenton St. Bernard in England, Mario St. Bernard, also known as Jess, and Darwin Laborde in Grenada, aunt of Kanaya Smith in England, Kamaya St. Bernard, Zayden Noel, and Zahira Laborde, grandniece of Sylvia Gilbert and Telma Charles. Many other relatives and friends including the St. Bernard family in Grenada, Trinidad, Canada, England, and the USA, the Laborde family in St. Vincent, Trinidad, and Grenada, the family of Jacob Williams and siblings, Christopher Riley and siblings, Lisa St. Bernard and siblings, Marina McGilvery Wint, Kiva Gibbs, Saskia Noel, Samantha Lewis, Cinda McIntyre, Keith Thomas, Kim Douglas, Donalyn Pope, Odette LeBlanche, Beverly Nicholas, Caroline Pisa, Dwight Ross, the pastor and members of the St. George's Baptist Church and the St. George's Anglican and Boca Secondary Schools, and friends and neighbors of Montu and surrounding areas. The funeral of the late Talik Wilfana Laborde, also known as Shortstaff, and Wendy of Trinidad, who resided at Montu St. George, will take place on Thursday, May 4th at 2 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the St. George's Baptist Church Springs, and entombment will be at the family cemetery Woodlands. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lakpa Brothers Funeral Home.
Stephen Ross, also known as Fathead and Chucky of Vendome St. George, died on Sunday, 2nd April at the age of 41. Left to mourn are his stepfather, Francis Bowen, girlfriend, Ayana Pompey, aunt and caretaker, Cynthia Duncan of Bolio, brothers, Wilt Talpry Cambridge in Grenada, Kerry Frank in Trinidad, Andre George, Marcus Samuel, Travis Ross in the US, and Clifton in Australia, sister, Dante Ross, many nieces and nephews, sister-in-law of Alana, Christel, Michelle, and Yana, aunts, Anne, Carol, Elsa, Jacinta, Lydia, Lauren, Maureen, and Pauline, uncles, Augustine, Francis, Joseph, Martin, Raphael, and Spencer, cousins too numerous to mention. Left to mourn the Ross family of Vendome, the Stephen family, and Thomas family of Beaulieu and Vendome. The funeral service of the late Stephen Ross, also known as Fathead and Chucky of Vendome St. George, will take place on Thursday, May 4th. That's 1 p.m. and entombment will be at the family cemetery, Vendome St. George. Funeral arrangements have been entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. Lovina Ross Bowen of Vendome St. George, who resided in Brooklyn, New York, died on Friday, 7th April, at the age of 61. Left to mourn her husband, Francis Bowen. Children, Dante Ross and Travis Ross. Sisters, Lydia Ross in the U.S. and Elsa Aline in Trinidad. Brothers, Martin Andrew and Hope Ross in St. Martin. Grandchildren, Dante Ross and Travis Ross Jr. in the U.S. Nieces, Erica, Latoya, Stacy, Jasmine, and Charmaine. Nephews, Evan Thomas, Sean Jones, Jason, Keyshawn, Odu, Imran, and Keston. Stepchildren, Bob and Roger. Sister-in-law, Yolande. Brothers-in-law, Lenroy Gilbert, Atlin Jones. Uncle Duckin. Close relatives and friends including Melissa, Michelle Thomas, Helen Thomas and family, Jennifer Stephens and family, Maria and family, Annie and family, Denise and family, Eula and family, Cheryl and family, Andre George and family, Hermie and family, the staff of the Sister of St. Joseph and her fellow church members of Elim Restoration Church of God, the Ross family, the Thomas family. The funeral for the late Lovina Ross Bowen of Vendome St. George, who resided in Brooklyn, New York, will take place on Thursday, May 4th. That's 1 p.m. The funeral service will be held at Our Lady Help of Christians Roman Catholic Church, Beaulieu, and entombment will be at the family cemetery, Vendome St. George. Funeral arrangements have been entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home.
David Augustine Charles, also known as Cooks and Elliot, of Mamacan St. Andrew, passed away on Thursday, 23rd March 2023, at the age of 71. He was the husband of Glenna Charles, father of Zan in the USA, Godfrey, Tikio, and Zanu, grandfather of DeAndre, Jomani, Darrell, Jamil, Dishon, Dishoni, Dishona, Tahira, Shanice, Brianna, and Jordan, great-grandfather of Janae, brother of Ursula in Grenada, Marilyn, Philip, and Ian in the USA, uncle of Karen, Dwayne, Addie, Dante, Marcia, and Marcel, father-in-law of Joel, Debbie Ann, and Anthony. Many cousins, other relatives, and close friends including Jean, Hilary, Mayrose, Snare, Jones, Carly, Alphonsus, Heidi, Aidan, Lio and Fraser, the Aldridge and Macmillan families, and friends and neighbors of Mamacan and surrounding areas. The funeral service for the late David Augustine Charles, also known as Cokes and Elliot, of Mamacan St. Andrew, will take place on Thursday, May 4th at 2 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the St. Martin de Porres Roman Catholic Church, Crowshoe, St. Andrew, and interment will be at the Churchyard Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lackwell Brothers Funeral Home. Abraham Michael Richer, also known as Satan, of River Lane, Grove, St. John, passed away on Friday, 7th April 2023, at the age of 71. He was the father of Desra Gill, Nicole Joseph, Rhaenyra, and Tara Banfield, grandfather of Kimberly and Kimber Modeste in the USA, Genesis Joseph, Cedric Marquez, Kimya Ashton, Cassidy, and Madison Gill, brother of Lorna Rochelle Lewis in the UK, uncle of Sandra, Donna, Derek, Bernard, Ingrid, Felix Crow, Jimmy, and Carl Crow, father-in-law of Michael Ashton and Swan Barry. Other relatives and friends including Elvin Rush, Dr. Gillian Thomas, Michelle Ashton, Shawnita and Kinder Ambrose, Twinkle, Godston Brown, Rocco, Deslin, Sheila Ambrose, Alorna Marquez, and friends and neighbors of Grove, St. John. The funeral of the late Abraham Michael Richer, also known as Satan, of River Lane, Grove St. John, will take place on Friday, May 5th at 1 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the St. Peter's R.C. Church, Grove, and interment will be at the Douglaston Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Jadine Emmons Bartholomew of Happy Hill, who resided at Mount Parnassus St. George, owner of J&J Printers, passed away on Wednesday, April 5th, 2023, at the age of 36. She was the mother of Jaden, Jalen, and Jayla Bartholomew, daughter of Gloria Emmons, sister of Andre Celestine in the USA, Patrick and Natasha Celestine, Karina Henry, Erlen, Lindy, Kendra, and Judd Emmons, aunt of 5, niece of many, sister-in-law of Stephanie Romaine and Yolande Hamilton in the U.S., Alicia Emmons, and Shade Henry in Grenada, cousin of many including Dr. Patrick Antwine and Ordine Searles in Trinidad, Kevin Sylvester in the USA, Dwight Celestine, Rennie Harris, Sally Ann, Nixon and family, Barbara Sandy and family, Jeremy Scott and family, the Sylvester family, and the Hyacinth family of Brazan. Many other family and friends, including the Bartholomew family of Happy Hill, the Celestine family of Mount Tranquil, the Emmons family of Grenada and in Carriacou, the pastor and members of CCW, Miss Margaret Roberts, Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, Senator Jonathan Lecrette, the staff of J&J Printers, and friends and neighbors of Mount Parnassus, Happy Hill, and surrounding areas. The funeral of the late Jadine Emmons Bartholomew of Happy Hill, who resided at Mount Parnassus St. George, will take place on Friday, May 5th at 1 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the Happy Hill Open Bible Church, and entombment will be at the Top Fence Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. Clinton Cosmos Alexander of Parade and Laborie St. George, who resided in the United States of America, passed away on Sunday 9th April 2023 in the USA at the age of 88. He was the brother of Robert in Trinidad and Sylvester, also known as Jerry, in Canada, adopted brother of Hillary in Canada, Kessler in the UK, Leonard and Jeffrey in Grenada, brother-in-law of Grace in Grenada and Ingrid in Canada, uncle of Desmond and Brian in Trinidad, Pamela, Brian, Samuel and Carol in Canada, Richard and Caroline in the UK, and Steve in Grenada. Several cousins including Alma, Denise, Hazelan, Casti in Grenada, Gillian in the USA, and many others too numerous to mention. Several godchildren including godson Keyshawn in the USA. Other relatives the Worm, Sandyford, Park, Jellino, Braffett, Burke and Charles families of Laborie and in the United Kingdom. Many dear friends including Dennis and Denise Phillip in Grenada. The Thanksgiving service for the late Clinton Cosmos Alexander of Parade and Laborie St. George, who resided in the USA, will take place on Saturday, May 6th at 11 a.m. Funeral service will be held at Riverside Church, Manhattan, New York City, USA, and a memorial service will be held in Grenada at a later date. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. Francis Anthony Lead, also known as the Mighty Footsie, of Birchgrove St. Andrew, who resided in the USA, passed away on Monday, 3rd October 2022, at the age of 74. He is survived by his wife Agatha Bowen Lead. He was the father of Evan Alexis, Kellen Rubin, Earl Cummins in Grenada, Daisha Gani in Trinidad, Ron Lead, Ricky and Tanisha Lead in the USA. Grandfather and great-grandfather of Lasana, Janaya, RJ, Eric, Dorian, Latoni, and Madison in the USA, Tristan, Giovanni, Tyler, Rikael, Amaya, Marvin, Michaela, Maya and Caden in Grenada, and Mariah in Trinidad. Brother of Mary, Gloria and Victor in the USA, Joycelyn in Trinidad, Diana, Ennis, Kenny, and Fabian in Grenada. Other relatives and close friends, too numerous to mention, including neighbors of the Birchgrove community and surrounding areas. The burial of the ashes of the late Francis Anthony Lead, also known as the Mighty Footsie of Birchgrove St. Andrew, who resided in the USA, will take place on Monday, May 8th at 2 p.m. at the St. Rose Cemetery, Adelphi, Birchgrove, St. Andrew. Arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home.
Diane Elizabeth Cox of Wynwood, Carriacou, passed away on Monday, 24th April, at the age of 43. She was the wife of Nolan Cox, mother of Nyosha, Naomi, Darren, and Darrell Cox, daughter of Lloyd and Eunice Davidson, sister of Debbie, Lydia, Samantha, Indeve, and Lloyd, mother-in-law of Catherine Cox, sister-in-law of 16 including Stephen McDonnell, Kenny Lewis, and Joan Davidson, niece of Margaret, also known as Addie, Lucin, Lucy, Patsy, Dorothy, Moritha, Antoinette, Alice, Donette, Louis, Louise, and Davis, aunt of Che, Siobhan, Shireen, Kalia, Nia, Colleen, Cadell, Danaya, Johaida, Jayla, and Myron, godmother of 6, goddaughter of Celia Bethel and Rhonda McLawrence, close cousin of many including Keisha, Nikisha, Vanessa, David, Limal, Sema, and Jurian, close friends of many including Stacy and Washington and family, Marcia Kwashi, Dexter Lagarde and family, Schofield Coy and family, Mr. and Mrs. Dennis Joseph, Junior Mitchell, Nicholas Cox and family, Jenny Noel and family, Anne McLawrence, Shortman and Yvette, Marcus and Desiree Simon, and Richard McQuilkin. Many other relatives and close friends including Davidson and Cox families, Nicole Cox and family, Junior McDonald, Rona Compton and family, Sherry Lewis, Verdon Stafford and family, Caroline and Curl, Nemi Scott, Stephanie and Twine and family, Charles, Bethel and Noel families of Wynwood and Orangevale, matron, doctors and nurses and staff of Princess Royal Hospital, members of Carriacou Cancer Society, and the staff of Beacon Insurance, friends and neighbors of Wynwood and surrounding areas too numerous to mention. The funeral of the late Diane Elizabeth Cox of Wynwood, Carriacou will take place on Tuesday, 9th May at 12:30 p.m. at St. Peter's and Paul Roman Catholic Church, Wynwood, Carriacou, and the interment will be at the Black Rock Cemetery, Wynwood, Carriacou. Funeral arrangements have been entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home.
Mary Maguire, also known as Elsa Lewis of New Hampshire St. George, a well-known vendor at the Grenville Market, passed away on Saturday, 8th April 2023 at the age of 85. She is survived by her children Isaiah, also known as Zaka, Ezekiel, Catherine, and John, also known as Eyes. Siblings Charles, Skelly, Leon, Marlon residing in Trinidad, and Julietha residing in the USA. 9 grandchildren, Decima, Abby, Donnell, Fona, Vernessa, Caberta, Selena, John Jr., and Kayla. 11 great-grandchildren, including Jaden. Many nieces and nephews, Roxanne in Canada, Claire, Helen, Roland, Beresford, Altus, Carolyn, Christopher, Sharon, Ivo, and Joshua. Many other relatives and friends, including the Lewis and McBurney families of New Hampshire, the Louison and Maguire families of Concord, Janet Louison and family, Linda, Christine, Rita, Elizabeth, also known as Ona, Lucy Wildman, Beverly Daniel, Julia, Zarhilda, and other relatives and family of New Hampshire, too numerous to mention. The funeral of the late Mary Maguire, also known as Elsa Lewis of New Hampshire St. George, will take place on Tuesday, May 9th at 1:30 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the Our Lady Queen of Peace, Constantine St. George, and interment will be at the Family Cemetery, New Hampshire. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home. Christine Niles Langine of Laton St. David, who resided at River Road, St. George, passed away on Thursday, April 20th, 2023, at the age of 78. She was the mother of Vennie Noel in the USA, Nigel Noel, Shaniel Gibbs, and Desmond Noel in Grenada. Stepmother of Junior McNeil in Carriacou, Sandra Langine and Samson Charles in Grenada, and Bevan Abraham in the USA. Grandmother of Kevin McEwen, Mark Noel Hernandez, Jamie and Jamal Charles, Monique Sylvester, Jaden Noel, Shanika Gibbs, Corey and Denisha Noel. Great-grandmother of Kelisa, Kevisha, Kayla, Karaji and KJ McEwen, Neva, Melody and Josiah Noel. Sister of Millicent Release Haynes in Trinidad and Rosa Niles in Grenada. Niece of Jean and Anastasia Jeffrey. Sister-in-law of Thelma Moore Redhead, Jacqueline Moore Belfon, Glennis Moore and Keith Telesford. Mother-in-law of Curtis Gibbs and Debbie McEwen. Aunt of 40 including Oslin Holder, Alison Victor, Gillian Caffey, Sherwin Sean Modeste, Hazel Lewis Spanaway and Gemma Fraser in Trinidad, Nesta Louison, Anselm Niles, Mary Modeste, Mary Francis, Selma Caffey, Edward Niles, Muriel Felix, Terry and Runa Niles. Godmother of Kelly and St. Bernard and Gaynor Smith. Many cousins, other relatives and close friends including Marva Charles, Gillian Phillip, Irma Francis, Margaret Roberts, Wilma Smith, Dennis Bartholomew, Catherine Neri Sylvester, Joanna Livingston, Barbel, Mother Wilma and Shepherd Albert, Meralda Paul, traffickers and vendors at the St. George's Market Square, members of the Mount Paran Spiritual Baptist Church, the Niles family of St. David, New Hampshire, Chantimel and in Trinidad, the USA and Canada, the Jeffrey family of St. David, the Noel and Langine families, and friends and neighbors of Latente and River Road. The funeral of the late Christine Niles Langine of Latente St. David, who resided at River Road, St. George, will take place on Tuesday, May 9th at 12:30 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the Garden of Remembrance Funeral Chapel, Cemetery Hill, St. George's, according to Spiritual Baptist rites, and entombment will be at the St. George's Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Phyllis Bernadine Williams, née Francis of Vendham, who resided at Beaulieu, St. George, passed away on Saturday, 22nd April 2023, at the age of 94. She was the mother of Dominic, Gaston and Simeon in the USA, Cuthbert, Louis and Louise in Grenada. Sister of Marita Modeste in the USA, Monica and Christopher Francis in Canada. Grandmother of Dominic Jr., Desiree, Ashley, Christopher, Nicholas, Dwight, Faye, Dwayne, Lugene, Angel, Leon, Leonard, Simone, Ariana, Ryan and Rice. Great-grandmother of Madison, Prudence and Lucas. Sister-in-law of Wilma, Marcia, Anthea and Louisa Francis. Mother-in-law of Megon, Winifred, Florence and Dawn Williams and Douglas Noel. Many nieces and nephews including the Modeste, Francis, Edwards, Campbell and Mitchell children abroad, the Francis, Harford and Bartholomew children in Grenada, caregivers and doctors Dr. Alejandro Miguel and Dr. Sonia Nixon, Maggie Sanchez, Brenda Scott, Adis and Irva James. Many other relatives and friends including Father Leroy Hopkin, the Francis family of Vendham, the Williams family in London, New Jersey and at the Turks and Caicos Islands, the Cobb family of Beaulieu and in the USA, Glenroy Johnson and family, Maureen Williams, Gemma Francis, Daniel Strawn and family, the Purcell and Nixon families, the Holder family in the USA, the James family of Beaulieu and in the USA, the Dolan family, Mr. and Mrs. Fitzroy Williams, Christopher Penny, Cecil Greenidge, Cheryl Charles, Annette Augustine, Derek James, Father Sean Duggart and parishioners, and friends and neighbors of Beaulieu and surrounding areas. The funeral of the late Phyllis Bernadine Williams, née Francis of Vendham, who resided at Beaulieu St. George, will take place on Wednesday, May 10th at 1 p.m. Funeral service will be held at the Beaulieu RC Church, and entombment will be at the Vendham Cemetery. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Benedict Chambers, also known as Frank, Kakaya and Captain, of Grand Roy St. John, passed away on Saturday 29th April 2023 at the age of 80. The funeral arrangements for the late Benedict Chambers, also known as Frank, Kakaya and Captain, of Grand Roy St. John, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Gerald McMeal, also known as Brady, of Windsor Forest, St. David, passed away on Saturday, 4th April 2023, at the age of 67. The funeral arrangements for the late Gerald McMeal, also known as Brady of Windsor Forest, St. David, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Neville Darius Moses Caliste, also known as Chalku, of Mount Fanhope, St. Andrew, passed away on Friday, 28th April 2023, at the age of 95. The funeral arrangements for the late Neville Darius Moses Caliste, also known as Chalku, of Mount Fanhope, St. Andrew, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Efani Chedu Timothy Alexander, also known as Chedu and Max, of Village Road, Grenville, St. Andrew, who resided in the USA, passed away on Thursday, April 20th, 2023, in Houston, Texas, USA, at the age of 32. The funeral arrangements for the late Efani Chedu Timothy Alexander, also known as Chedu and Max, of Village Road, Grenville, St. Andrew, who resided in the USA, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Desmond Livingstone Hagley, also known as Exteen, of Thebaid, St. David, passed away on Friday, 21st April 2023, at the age of 61. The funeral arrangements for the late Desmond Livingstone Hagley, also known as Exteen of Thebaid, St. David, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Cyril Joseph, also known as Charm Bay and Jimmy, of Lassages, St. David, passed away on Tuesday, 25th April 2023, at the age of 63. The funeral arrangements for the late Cyril Joseph, also known as Charm Bay and Jimmy, of Lassages, St. David, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home.
Arnold Frederick, also known as Woodnose and Salopwee, of Marley St. Patrick, passed away on Friday, 21st April, at the age of 59. The funeral arrangements of the late Arnold Frederick, also known as Woodnose and Salopwee, of Marley St. Patrick, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements have been entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Troy Wilton Nichols of Spring St. George, who resided in New York, passed away on Thursday, 28th April, at the age of 44. The funeral of the late Troy Wilton Nichols of Spring St. George, who resided in New York, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements have been entrusted to Bailey's Funeral Home.
Cicely Johnson, also known as Tanti of Bellevue, St. David, passed away on Thursday, 20th April 2023 in the USA, at the age of 83. The funeral arrangements for the late Cicely Johnson, also known as Tanti, of Bellevue, St. David, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Ashley Ned, also known as Ned of Grosse Pointe St. Mark, passed away on Thursday, April 20th, 2023, at the age of 71. The funeral arrangements for the late Ashley Ned, also known as Ned, of Grosse Pointe St. Mark, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Donald Augustine Bartholomew, also known as Caliste and Swales, of Munich, who resided at Grand Bachelet St. Andrew, passed away on Monday, 17th April 2023, at the age of 72. The funeral arrangements for the late Donald Augustine Bartholomew, also known as Caliste and Swales, of Munich, who resided at Grand Bachelet St. Andrew, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacqua Brothers Funeral Home. Anthony St. Paul, also known as Sky Grease and Tony, of Mount Granby St. John, who resided at Brazan St. George, a well-known truck driver, passed away on Wednesday, 19th April 2023, at the age of 56. The funeral arrangements for the late Anthony St. Paul, also known as Sky Grace and Tony, of Montgranby St. John, who resided at Brazan St. George, will be given in a subsequent broadcast. Funeral arrangements entrusted to Lacwa Brothers Funeral Home.
The management and staff of MTV extend deepest condolences to those of you whose loved ones have passed on. Thank you for watching.
Death and dying are the inevitable events and realities of life. The passing of a friend or loved one often brings with it the feelings of sadness, grief, and pain. There is always the period of sorrow and mourning for those who experience such loss. Brothers and sisters, particularly in this time and season of how you feel and what you may be thinking as a result of the passing of your loved one, there is a source and means of comfort that you can tap into. That source and means of comfort is God and His Word that speaks specifically and directly to our situation. Hear the word to you today. He says, "Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted." What I believe He is saying through this verse to you and everyone that is now experiencing some measure of grief or sorrow, and what I also believe is implied in that which He says, are the following. Mourning is an understandable, normal, and real expression of your emotions. Mourning presents the opportunity for us to experience the comfort of family, friends, and loved ones. Mourning identifies us with each other in our humanity and morality. Mourning will not last forever. It is for a particular season and reason. Mourning connects us with the ultimate source and means of comfort that is always available to us, God, our Heavenly Father, through Jesus Christ. And so today, we look to the Lord in prayer, Him who is able to comfort us with the comfort that we need in times like these. God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, God of comfort, we pray even now for those who mourn and are in need of your comfort. May your love embrace them. May your grace afford them the strength for each day and hope for tomorrow. May you inspire and motivate them to stand upon the promises of your word. And may your Spirit lead and direct them to the ultimate source and means of comfort which can be found in you and the promises of your word. This prayer we offer through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
When a loved one passes on, we all need the comfort, support, and guidance of a trusted friend. You can rely on Lacwa Brothers Funeral Home. We provide a personalized professional service that exceeds all expectations. Our dedicated staff responds to your every need with the greatest detail, ensuring affordability with a variety of options. Our upgraded state-of-the-art facilities, spacious air-conditioned chapel with live internet streaming, a modern, environmentally safe crematorium, the only of its kind on island, private viewing spaces, large on-site repast center, a modern transportation fleet. Join our burial society today and make personalized arrangements for that final moment. As you prepare to enter your loved one into eternal rest, visit or call LaCour Brothers Funeral Home and select a package that brings added comfort to the entire family. LaCour Brothers Funeral Home and Burial Society, continuing a tradition of excellence.
Holy Natural Spring Water is a water for every occasion on the field of sports, at your workplace. Just open the bottle and savor the pure, refreshing taste. Holy Natural Spring Water is produced in Mama Can St. Andrews and is available in all sizes nationwide. To order, telephone 444-7654 or 533-7654. Holy Natural Spring Water, Grenada's purest bottled water.
Promoters, here is a chance to boost your event or fete with MTV's irresistible television advertising specials. Book now and be wowed with party deals and good advertising coverage. Call our sales and marketing department on 440-8171 or via WhatsApp on 455-718. You can also send an email at mtvmarketinggd@gmail.com. Terms and conditions apply.
This Mother's Day, give your mom the gift of music, love, and excitement with Sunshine Promotions Night of Love